Good evening, everyone. It's April 25th, and here we are back in Hamilton, Ontario, waiting for Larry, VE3LBI, to open up the Friday night Ragchew on the ZOE repeater. This VE3ZOE is the formal name at a frequency of 443.075. And we're inside of a minute before the net opens up. 7 o'clock is where Larry starts taking check-ins. So let's get our camera aligned and get ready to go. Da 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 da. Everybody that knows that rhythm knows what I've been doing for a little while. Popping around on 20 meters down in the CW area.
And welcome to the Friday night ZOE Ragchew on 443.075. Has a plus offset and no toll is required. My call sign is Victor Echo 3 Lima Bravo India. My name is Larry and I'm located on the East Hamilton Mountain. It's an open net. To join the conversation, please give us your call sign and your name. Tell us about yourself, your equipment, or what you'd like to add to the conversation. Before we start, I'd like to thank Terry, VE3IMW, for the use of ZOE repeater. And please remember, using your repeater has very good coverage in Ontario, so no religion, politics, or foul language. Remember to let your repeater drop in so other people can get into our conversation. And also, Mac is also, again, live streaming this on YouTube. Just put in the call sign, Victor Alpha 3 IMW, and look for the live so you can pick it up on YouTube. All right, can I get check-ins for Friday night ZOE Ragchew? Come on in, please.
VA3
VA3NCA.
IMW.
Victor Alpha 3 Bravo Tango. All right, you got NCA, IMW, your BK, yeah. Anybody else check it in, please? Come on in, VE3LBI. Victor Echo 3 India, Uniform Kilowatt. Larry, it's BT, not BK. What did I say? BK. Oh, sorry, I got it written down right, just said it wrong. No problem. Right, any other check-ins for Friday night ZOE Ragchew? Come on in, VE3LBI. VA3 CJZ. VA3 Mike Hotel Victor. All right, start off, I guess this next week, May, about time. I hope the weather stays a little bit better than it has been, up and down. Yesterday was beautiful, today a little cool. Right now it seems very damp outside. So. All right, pick up Wade first here, VA3NCA, VE3LBI. Come on in, Wade.
VE3LBI, VA3NCA. Good evening, Larry. Good evening, everybody on net tonight. We've reached the weekend again. So this is nice. Good way to cap off the week. This weekend is the Paris Fancaster, so I am going to be going up to the place tomorrow to get my registration material there. I have bib number 1900, so there's at least that many people in this, so it's going to be a zoo, I think. But then on Sunday morning, I start out from Cambridge, so it'll be a lot of fun. Probably muddy, probably not. It's not going to be hot and it's not going to be freezing, so it might turn out, touch wood, to be relatively good weather for this, so we'll give it a shot anyways. Other than that, I was glad to pick up Terry. He went out and did a quick activation yesterday, and he was booming in on 20, even though we were close in. I think he was on the other side of the Dundas Valley, though, so I think that's it. I think Webster's Falls or at least Spencer Gorge, wherever he was set up. And I'm on the opposite face, so I guess if anything was going to work on 20 close in, it was going to be that. But anyways, got him and was happy to pick him up. So other than that, not much else right now, but I am here for the duration. Back to you, Larry, the VA3NCA.
Yep, okay, thanks, Wade, for coming in. So I missed the last part there. said, did you start the race, or sorry, you're doing a race this weekend?
Yeah, it's the Paris Ancaster cycling race. There are three of them, part of the same race series. So there's the Cento, which is the 100-something K from Paris, and then there's the Classic, which is the one I'm in, which is 70-something kilometers from Cambridge, and then there's a Breve, which is something less than 70. I can't remember how much it is, but anyways, it's on Sunday morning, so I'm off. I think my start time is 9:30 in the morning, and then everyone, all three races end at the Firestone Arena there in Ancaster, coming up that big hill out back where the trail system starts. That's the final the finish line climb. So yeah, that's Sunday, so we'll give that a shot.
Actually, I think Dave and Garnett will be on duty there for that too, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I think it was one of the nets recently where Dave mentioned that he was working at, so him and Garnett. So I will definitely keep an eye open for them, but I'll be in a crowd of a couple thousand, so I'm not sure where they're stationed to look out for them or anything, but I'll wave if I see them as I'm going by. Yeah, he did mention that, which is great.
Well, if we hear from Garnett tonight, we can find out, but I believe Dave told me before they're going to be stationed near the end, I think. I'm not 100% on that, but maybe Garnett will be in. You can ask him if he shows up tonight.
Yeah, it would be good to know, so I know when to keep an eye open. If it's near the end, then that's all of the routes all converge, and they all, the end of them is all the same route. They just start in different places, sequentially out further, depending on the length of the route. I hadn't planned to do this. I don't have the best bike for it. I made some modifications to the tire width and tread type to make it suitable for the ride, but I wasn't planning to do it. But then a buddy of mine was doing it, and he up and moved to Australia. So he had a registration that they don't refund for, but they do allow transfers. So he said, hey, if you were able to get yourself sorted out, would you take it? And I said, yeah, that's an offer I can't really refuse. So he had a pre-registration for the Classic, but after he up and moved to Australia last month, he couldn't use it, so he passed it over. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay, sounds good. So it's an actual race. It's just not a ride. It's an actual race itself.
Yeah, it is technically a ride. I'm in the open start. It's actually a UCI sanctioned event, and everybody gets a number bib that has electronic chip in it that'll give you your race timings. But I'm what I guess I'm 53 and just a recreational rider. So I'm in the fully open start, not the competitive start, and I'm just going to try and not hurt myself on it and enjoy the ride. But it is technically a race, that's true.
Well, sounds good. Good luck with it. Hope the weather's decent for you. I think you're calling for rain tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully it won't be too bad around the ride. Okay, we'll pick up Mac next. VA3IMW, VA3LBI. Come on in, Mac.
Good evening, Larry. Happy Friday to everyone. Actually, good weather today, seasonal. Yesterday was a little bit of a fooler, but it would have been a good day to sit out on a patio and enjoy the sunshine. As far as the topic tonight, I'm going to suggest that we take a quick walk through, well, more of an extensive walk through what I believe we've already reviewed. But let me set the stage here. One of our check-ins last night on the Lake Ontario Radio Club Net Simplex edition mentioned that there seems to be a difference in interpretation for utilizing a club call during a group activation. And I'm pretty sure that we had talked through this, in advance of doing our group activations, even back in when we did Dundurn in the sunny, warm weather last year. But perhaps we can work down through this. I know that Wade has been the individual that's been carrying the club call. So he submits a log where the call sign is VE3HPO and the operator is VA3NCA. And when that goes into the POTA site, it tears them apart and he gets credit and HBO gets credit for the QSOs. So anyways, we can take a trip through your check-ins, and maybe once we come back around the top, kind of review where we were with what we decided was our joint position on the POTA rules. Anyways, not to drag things down to a dull roar, but I think it's important that we consider the questions and queries of some of our HPO members. That's a bit about it for now. Glad to have the weekend upon us and looking forward to seasonable temperatures. April showers bring May flowers.
Well, we're just about done with April, so I know some of the. Actually, we drove last week. We headed out to Costco, I think it was, and on the side of the hill there was some daffodils up. So it's kind of interesting. They seem planted on the on ramps going onto the lake, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, things are changing. That's for sure. You can start to see some of the leaves. The trees are starting to get a little bit green on them. We've got one in the backyard. Manitoba maple, I think it is, and it's pretty well greened up, and actually got some leaves on it now. So it's coming. It's coming. Now I'll complain it's going to be too hot.
Yeah, one of my major concerns on Thursday was OMG, we're going to do that just like we did last year, go from heating season to air conditioning season right overnight. That was brutal last year. So hopefully we can take a nice gradual swing and have some turn the furnace off time in between.
Yeah, exactly. I'll see how we may go with that, Mac. All right. Before I can pick up Al here, anybody else want to check in Friday night Ragchew? My call sign Victor Echo 3 Lima Bravo India. Come on in.
VE3IMW.
VA3CP. All right. Well, there's Garnett and their wait. So when we get down the list, we'll pick them up and see what he's got, where they're going to be positioned on Sunday. All right, Al's up. VA3BT, VE3LBI. Come on in, Al.
Hey, good evening, Larry, and everybody on frequency. Yes, thank God it's Friday. I'm glad this week's over. Looks like we got a pretty good weekend coming up, so I got lots to do around the house here, that's for sure. Looks like might be pulling that beam down this weekend. We'll see how that goes. I get that ready for the new beam if I get my butt in gear and put it together, but we got time. We got all summer for that. Yeah, other than that, I got to cut the grass. It's already, I don't know if you guys cut the grass, but it's getting high up there. So that's the first thing on the list tomorrow is cut that lawn. Other than that, not too much on my end here. Just glad it's Friday. We'll hand it back over to you, Larry. VA3BT.
Yeah, I'll bet you guys, well, both you and Mac, I don't know who else is out of town, but pretty rough there last day there with all that big, well, I guess the interruption from somebody that kind of messed up the highway. So I know my son-in-law, he was just at 4. He never got in until almost 7:30. So it was a long drive for him, too. Cutting lawns. Well, I don't know if I want to put my winter coat on yet to cut the lawn.
It's bad out here. I definitely got to do it tomorrow. But what's the forecast? I know 18 on Sunday. Tomorrow is going to be, I think it was 12 or 13, which isn't too bad. So that's good weather for cutting the lawn.
Well, we'll see how things go. I mean, if it gets there, I may do it on Sunday. So, all right, we'll pick up Bill next. VA3IMW, VA3LBI. Come on in, Bill.
Good evening, Larry. Good evening to all on frequency. Not too much to report here that's new. Oh, I will say that my antenna for 2 meters 440 seems to be working well, albeit that it's only up about 10 feet in the air. So happy to be able to check into simplex nets now in comfort. What else? I've been looking at the 706 and I've found some of the controls I need to set. I think Mac mentioned that the audio might be a little weak, so I found where the compression setting is on it, so I need to probably mess around with that. So I've been reading through the manual and hoping to go out this weekend and do an activation. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or Sunday. It's going to be weather permitting, or if it's good weather, maybe both days. So we'll just have to play that by ear. The other thing I mentioned is I'm going to start to look for an alternative to the Pac-12 antenna, but my issue obviously being not able to throw a wire up in a tree with my eyesight, that would be an exercise in futility. So we're looking at alternatives to the Pac-12, and I'll be anticipating to listen to the conversation regarding the proper use of the club call, because I know it's been a contentious issue with certain people, so hopefully we get that straightened out, Larry. Other than that, everything is good here. Back to net control.
Okay, excellent, Bill. Well, you're full coming into the repeater, and on Wednesday there, I think you had to make an adjustment. You might have been on low power or medium power, and when you came up, I didn't quite catch your signal strength, but I do know you were a lot louder, so definitely you could hear you on simplex there.
Yeah, it's just to do with the eyesight. Sometimes I miss what button I'm pushing, or I inadvertently push the wrong button. So for most of, for the first part of Chuck's net, I was on low power, but we got that straightened out, Larry. It's just what you call an IO error, if you know what I mean.
Good thing he doesn't have the nuclear codes.
Right. Okay, Bill, thanks. All right, we'll bring in Chuck now. VA3 CJZ VA3LBI. Come on in, Chuck.
VA3 CJZ. Hey, good evening, Larry and all on net. And I could hear Bill. Mind you, it was at a lower level than I remembered. I think on the Sunday night net, Bill was coming in stronger, much stronger than he was on the net. So I brought it up, and sure enough, the power was low. No big deal. But anyways, I got a couple of contacts today. I actually got that de-expedition in the British Virgin Islands, and I've got them on 3 bands now, 10, 17, and 20. I tried 12 meters, but I couldn't really hear them that well today. But we still got a couple days, 2 more days until they're done there, and other than that, not too much to report there, Larry. Back to you.
What about your software you were looking for? How did you make out with that? Did you get something resolved?
Oh gosh, yes, that's right. I want to thank everybody who helped me look for software. I can't even remember if it's software I got off of somebody or I found it, but I got a whole whack of them in my file folder, and I eventually got one to work, and so it looks like we'll be back to normal for the net on Wednesday. There'll be two-way communications through YouTube and through the radio. So, thanks again, everyone, for your help. Really appreciate it.
Okay, excellent. All right, very good, Chuck. All right, let's drop down to Mark here. VA3MHV, VA3LBI. Come on in, Mark.
Yes, good evening, Larry, and all on net.
Not too much to report here, Larry. I have my new radio, but I haven't played with it very much yet. As you gentlemen know, the wire we strung up here is not performing too well. So I think the game plan at this point, NFG and I have a scheduled day off early next week. So we're going to take some wires and a couple of different bollins I have here, and we're going to go have a field day, get away from the interference around here. We're going to go out, do a little testing, try a couple different wires and this and that, and see what works, get a system or a setup that performs well, and then we'll worry about coming back here and figuring out how we're going to string it up here. So that's where that stands, and other than that, Larry, I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, that's probably your best idea, Mark, is like you say, get away from the noise, find some place where it's really quiet, play around a little bit, get the wire lengths and stuff and try whatever, the 49 to 1 or whatever you want to try for balance, whatever time you want to try for a different size wire. Because, well, as you know, the apartments are going to be noisy and everything else around us here is noisy.
Yeah, we did a little test the other night. Steve called a buddy. I don't know what his call was, who it was, but he could hear us, but he couldn't hear us very well, and we could barely hear him. So yeah, we might have to put a filter or something on here, or a noise suppressor. But first, we'll get away from all that and test it out in the field. When we know the setup works and it's decent, then we'll worry about bringing it back here and making it work here. That's the plan.
Well, sounds like a good idea. And I think you said you have access to the roof too, so that's a good place to get the antenna set up.
Negative. That was my first choice, and that's what I was trying to make happen. But, health and safety and being a commercial landlord, whatever. But I'm certified or have been as a worker rep in the past, and I offered to wear fall protection and have a company representative with me, but there was no way they weren't letting anybody on their roof. So that was choice number one, but unfortunately it's not an option. So that's where that stands. I really wish I could get it up there.
Well, that's unfortunate. So, all right. Well, good luck with that, and you'll have to obviously let us know how things are making out with it. So, okay, up next, VA3GNP, VA3LBI. Come on in, Garnett.
Good evening, Larry. Neighborhood on net. Yeah, not much happening, Larry. Just a quick check-in.
Okay, I'm going to drop down and see you in the morning. And also, Wade's in the bike race on Sunday. Are you doing that on Sunday?
Yes, I am. Casa and Casa, yeah.
Okay, Wade was interested. Where about you positioned, you and Dave?
The corner of Slope Road and Power Line Road.
VA3NCA, VE3LBI?
VA3LBI, VA3NCA, and GMP. Thanks for that. Yeah, I will keep an eye open for you at that location. I'm at the 9:30 Cambridge start, so I'm not sure how far into the race that is, but I'll keep an eye open.
It's at the bottom of the hill. There's a big hill on Power Line Road, or at the bottom of the hill. And there's going to be a place at our location as well.
Oh yeah, very good. Yeah, I think I'm pretty familiar with that area. I do some of the riding in the summer up in that area, so I'm going to definitely keep an eye open. I think that is about where it enters back into off of the roads and gets back into the muddy areas, back onto some private land they open up just for the race. If I don't remember incorrectly.
Yeah, it is a dirt road. It's a mud road. It's supposed to be no rain Sunday. It's supposed to 0% rain on Sunday, so that's going to be good.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be nice, not too hot, not too cold. It should be just coolish, which ought to be nice. I think there's supposed to be rain tomorrow, so there might be some residual slop. But tomorrow's also supposed to have a bit of wind, so that might drive a little of the moisture out. But we'll see. This is an experiment for me. It's the first one I'll have done, so it's just going to be there for the fun of it. I'm not a contender by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, not a problem. If you see us pull over, now a bottle of water with us?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll keep an eye open.
Okay, no problem. Hopefully we'll see you Sunday.
Okay, next we got Dave, VA3CP, VA3LBI. Come on in, Dave. Good evening, Larry, VA3LBI, VA3CP. Good evening, everybody on network. On the net, I'm busy with my network at home. I've just put my router into bridge mode, and got a wireless router, and I've got half the devices in the house down, so I'm scrambling around to get those fixed up. Okay, very good. What about your email you got, Dave? What did you find out? Any more information? Okay, I've been in communication with the Hamilton Conservation Authority, and I've got a couple of emails back and forth. The latest one basically says that they appreciate the cooperation of your members with our conservation officers. I am advised that our staff is reviewing the matter. I will discuss with two people and get back to you shortly. So that's about where I stand. So we're basically the same as we were last week. If anybody does approach you, be courteous, abide by what they ask you. The only thing I ask you to do is get their name, please, and just give me a description of what was going on, because I want to update them as to what activity has happened. So I'm assuming that we probably won't have any problems going forward. I'm hoping, because if we do, this would be the only conservation area I've heard of in the world that would have an issue with amateur radio. And I did a quick count the other day. Believe it or not, since 2019, we have done in excess of 1,300 activations in Hamilton Conservation Authority parks. And there's only been 4 instances of challenges to our amateur radio activations. Thank you, Larry. Okay, well, very good, Dave. Appreciate you doing that. I'm sure everybody does. And we'll have to see what their next communication is with you. So, and I guess you're right. Yeah, if anybody does do any challenging or whatever, not to get them upset or whatever, but do get their name and information and why that they're. I guess they're actually don't want you to do whatever you're doing in that area. So, all right. Anybody else checking into the Friday night ZOE Ragchew? My call sign Victor Echo 3 Lima Bravo India. Come on in.
Victor Echo 3 Kilo Delta Tango.
Just an additional comment, Larry, VA3CP, not golf. Sorry, Dave, I was writing something down, man. I heard you in there. What was that, Dave? I just meant to say, just remember that the park employees have the ultimate responsibility, or their word is the way that we have to accept it. So just be patient. We'll get through this, and we'll get a ruling on it as to what's going on. All right, that's enough for me. Back to you, Larry. Carry on with that. VA3CP. Okay, thanks, Dave. All right, we got Noel in there, VE3KDT. Noel, been a while. How you doing? Everything okay?
Yeah. Quickly say hi to you and everyone else. Yeah, I've it's been a challenge or whatever else. Medication's been changing and other stuff like that, but going pretty good. Better now. Other than that, also I just realized it was the first time that I had the holidays, so I have my boys again this weekend. So we're doing that, and I just kind of got them settled for a second and sat down and was hearing the end of what Dave was talking about with the again some problems at the conservation thing. So if there's anything, any help or anything else I could offer or dealing with them, the provincial guys are some of my coworkers. So I'll just throw that out there. Back to you.
Yep. Okay, no problem. Noel, appreciate that. Yeah, I think Dave's going to be. one point of contact at the present time. That way, there's not a bunch of people firing off stuff in different directions. So, as Dave mentioned, maybe you weren't here last week, I think. We talked about it. Dave's going to be kind of the point of contact, like I say. That way it keeps it in one spot only, and not a bunch of other people are trying to fire off emails and cause an issue with, I guess, with everything that's not happened. But just trying to keep it smooth so everything flows nice and even. But we appreciate that.
Oh yeah, no problem. I understand how you guys are taking care of it, and yeah, just being polite and whatever else. If you do get the pushback, we can go around and do other channels as well too.
Yep. Okay. No problem. All right. Anybody else checking into the Friday night ZOE Ragchew? Come on in, please. The E3LBI. Okay, Mac. You had a point of discussion there. Might as well bring it in. The E3LBI.
I'm pretty sure that Dave stepped on VA3NFG, so let's give him a quick chance to get in.
Did not hear him. Steve, you in there? VA3NFG?
Yeah, V3LBI, VA3NFG. Yeah, we're in here listening along. Yep, I think Dave got over top of me there, but that's okay. I was just going to wait for a pause and get back in there next time he called for check-ins. But we're here now, so yep, steady as she goes. Getting a little bit of work done day by day, getting closer and closer to the goal. And I'm on the lighter work week now, so that gives me an extra day to get some more stuff done. So it's coming. I can see the end is in sight, as they say. So yeah, so I'm still constructing the attaching the support to the shelf so that I can put it into position and put that edging on, not the iron-on edging, that other plastic cheap-looking edging. We'll try that first because it's easy and cheap, and it should go on pretty good because it's a half-inch thick table with laminate on top, so it should fit nice and snug. But anyway, yeah, that's all I'm doing here this evening, enjoying my day off, and I'm back in for a doubleheader this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and then I'm off for 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. So having said that, we'll send it right back there, Larry. Thanks for doing the net. This is VA3NFG.
How are you liking the short work week now? Are you enjoying it more?
Yeah, well, I haven't really gotten the full effect yet. I think I've had 1 week of it. I think this was my first full 32-hour week. Might be my second one. So it really hasn't taken an effect yet. With the Good Friday holiday, I think that was my first week last week there. So yeah, so I'll probably really feel it this Monday and Tuesday. So it's like I work 2 days on and I got 2 off. And then I think I work 3 on and then I've got 2 off and then so forth. So yeah. Yeah, I think it'll work out pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good, Steve. Was this you're doing, or is the company doing that? Like, or did you actually request it?
Yeah, I requested it. A lot of other employees are doing it, and they seem to love it. So I can go back to full 40 hours anytime. Like if I feel that I made a mistake and I want my 40 back, then just like a flip of the switch, back it goes, and then on the next schedule, I'll have my 40 hours back again. But life's too short to work 5 days a week, man. I want more time off than that. Maybe especially since summertime's coming. I don't know. Maybe I would go back to 40 hours. I would entertain 40 hours through, maybe December, January, February, March, and then do the 32 hours, spring, summer, and fall. That'll give me lots of time to play with the hobby.
option then for you to be able to fall back like that. So sounds good, Steve. Well, I'm glad you sort of enjoying it. Like you say, I guess with Easter being in there kind of for a couple of days that you weren't would have had off anyways. So all right, let's pass it back to Mac now. Unless there's any more check-ins for Friday nights every Ragchew. Come on in, please. VA3LBI. Okay, Mac. VA3IMW, VA3LBI. You're up. Go ahead.
Okay, so as I mentioned, there was a one of our check-ins on Thursday night that voiced a concern on how we were utilizing the VE3 HPO call during our group activations, and they had read the rules and regulations on the Parks on the Air system and had a different interpretation than we did. I do recall that we've gone through this. I think we were all interested to make sure that we didn't violate anything. And I know for sure that there's a number of American operators that are using club calls and individual calls when they're doing activations. And I don't think that there's been any pushback with them. If you recall, when Kilo Bravo 3 Charlie Mike Tango was up to visit us there, he was utilizing his club call, his personal call, and obviously Dave, Larry, and myself, we were there for a period of time. So I can think of a number of others that operate a club call as well as their personal call. And yeah, there's got to be a right way and a wrong way of doing things. We just want to make sure that we're all doing it right and not leaving any questions or concerns in the various members of our VE3 HPO group. So the right way to do it and the wrong way. So since Wade is kind of the let's call him the head of the church, right? He's the HPO Pope. Maybe we should start with him because I know he's got a really good memory, and I'm sure he'll remember the discussion that we had even before we did the group activation at Dundurn last summer.
Go ahead, Wade.
Yeah, VA3IMW, VA3NCA. Yeah, I have, I don't know about the good memory or anything like that, but I do remember the conversation. I believe the rules say that there's no passing the mic for a club activation, and that much is definitely true. I think what we had agreed back then, and I should say I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other. I think that there's a distinction to be drawn here about regulations as required by ISED and rules to keep quota fun and relatively level playing field. We're definitely in the fun and level playing field side of the rule book. So I really don't have a strong opinion either way. I'm happy to do either, whatever we decide on. But that said, I think what we decided on last time was that we weren't really passing the mic. What we were doing was we were electing somebody. It's been me a few times. It's been others other times to actually operate the club call as the station and having the person be in some cases as the operator on the call. I submit that log myself. Everybody else submits their logs because they were also there. I believe that's how we had landed on it. Putting that out there just for my recollection of what we talked about, not for my endorsement of one way or the other. I tend to think that should be fine. It's not the club call that's passing around all the members. One person's operating the club call, and the rest are also there. And I believe that's probably the way that the other large POTA activator YouTube channels do it as well. If I've got any of that wrong, I'm happy to hear about it, and I'll pass it back to you, see if that's what you recollect as well. VA3NCA.
Yeah, that's definitely right in line with what I recall our discussions were. I gotta say that I'm not gonna say I'm a well-versed rule reader on POTA. So when I scroll down the page and hit the I agree, I didn't read every chapter and verse in all of the rules and regulations. So um, I know we had more input during that discussion, and maybe Dave would be another good one that would be able to chime in on this. And Larry, I'm going to let you take over the direction on this. Maybe we can run it down through the entire log and see if anybody has opinions and inputs. But I think it's really what it really comes down to is the interpretation of the rules as written. And I'm definitely not an expert. I have not researched every line and every word in the rule book for Parks on the Air.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Mac. Yeah, and back to what Wade had mentioned there about passing the mic. I mean, you really can't pass the mic on a club activation. As an example, you couldn't pass the mic around with a VE3 HPO to each individual. There would be duplication and be kind of useless to do. Even if you actually broke it down and had your call sign as a secondary, the primary being VE3 HPO and a secondary your call sign. When you went to submit the log, it would just be a duplicate. So I don't think that's going to work. And I agree 100%. You cannot pass the mic. Anybody got any comments towards that or anything? Dave, yourself, anybody else? Give me a shout there and we'll bring you in.
No, I don't have anything at the moment, Larry, VA3CP. I'm finished. My network is working.
Okay, Dave, no problem. All right, any other comments towards it? Anybody got any ideas about it? I mean, like I said, you can't pass the mic under the call sign VE3 HPO. It's just not going to work. And you're right, Mac. When Chris was up here, he actually was operating with his call sign and his club, and we activated with him. And when he submitted his logs, I mean, we're not part of his club, so when he submitted his logs, he put them under his own, under the club with his call sign attached to it. It's separated into his club and into his own call. We were separate from anything he was doing with that, and we received our own list that we actually put into the POTA site itself. So I don't think there's anything you can really do to change that.
Yeah, I guess the question is if you're doing a club activation, and I think the way that this individual reads it is if you're doing a club activation, then it's a bunch of people there, and VE3 HPO is the only log that gets submitted. But I'm not entirely sure that's the intent of the way the rules are written. And you know how the English language is. It can be taken a number of different ways, right? And if we have partners on the U.S. side that are submitting a club log with the operator's call sign embedded, it means the club and the operator get credit for the QSOs. But if you have more than VE3 HPO plus that operator there, then let's say we had 11 operators and one of the operators was also operating as VE3 HPO. So totally legal for Wade to submit his log with VE3 HPO as the station and the operator as VA3NCA. The system accepts the log upload for VE3HPO, and Wade gets credit for those QSOs as the operator. As far as everybody else at the park, they're not submitting logs under VE3HPO. They're only submitting logs for their own QSOs as part of the mass group. So I think maybe I will have to take the time out and read chapter and verse, and maybe we can table this for the time being, so we have a very small number of people that actually have weighed in on the topic at this point. So we can probably shelve this for the time being. Maybe come back on a couple of weeks and figure out another time that we can discuss this. And in the meantime, I will task myself with reading every line, every word, every letter, and try to draw my own conclusions on how we should read it, and perhaps how our neighbors in the States, who have been doing basically the same thing as we have for quite some time. Anyways, thanks, Larry. I'll turn it back to you before the thing times out.
You're consistent, Mac.
VA3MCA.
See if Mac's done talking yet.
Well, of course I'm done talking. When 3 minutes is up, I'm done.
Okay. All right. Bill said you're consistent. Wade's got something he'd like to say. VA3MCA, VE3LBI. Go ahead.
Yeah, just an observation. Perhaps this is more about terminology that we're using. We're using the shortcut that this is a mass club activation. Technically, it's a club activation with a mass of other operators also operating from the same park. I think that's the difference here. If that's how we want to agree to operate. So we elect somebody to operate the club call, and that one person is the operator call sign. The station call sign is the club call, and then they have 19 of their closest friends with them, also activating the park. I think that's the structure we're talking about here, and perhaps that's a way to get comfortable with it, or not, whatever we decide as a group. Mac, just to mention, in the POTA rules, they actually have a section on club calls where they very clearly say that you can't pass the mic. So at that point, fine, let's not pass the mic. Let's have one operator operate the club call, and the rest of us operate as well. I think that's the key here. I think that's the theory that the American folks that we know operate under, and I think that's what we had agreed last time to operate under. But again, happy to take a break and go back and reread the section, and others to do the same, and come back at this in a week or two, like you say, to discuss it more thoroughly. But I think that's the key. We're calling it, just out of simplicity's sake, a mass club activation. Technically, that's not how we're logging it. Anyways, enough of that. I don't want to time out the repeater. I'll send it back to you, Larry. VA3MCA.
Dave's entertained. 1 second, please, Dave. Just let me say something in between here. I think one of the things not to do is do not spot yourself under the club. Spot yourself as an individual, even if it's 13 people, but use the club call as one individual with that. Instead of like basically putting the club call as your spotting on the spotting page, no. Whoever has organized it, or whoever you feel like it should be the person that should be spotted, but use the club call as part of it. The other thing I was thinking about is something else I was going to say about that too, and I forgot now what it was. So I'll bring in Dave next. VA3CP, VA3LBI, go ahead.
Larry, VA3CP. What I'm reading here, or trying to understand, it looks like if you're doing a club activation, there will be only one log submitted, and that's for the club call sign. Each of the individual operators will not submit their own logs. I may be wrong with that, but I believe that's the way it is. Now, if you're, and no microphone passing required. However, there's no reason why operators can't be swapped in and out, as you've done in the past. If you're operating a group of guys in a park, operators around. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, Dave. Like I say, I mean, anybody can use the club call. They normally submit it to one person, or say one person's going to use it. But if one person, whoever it is, if it's posted under VA3IMW on on the POTA page, and Wade's using it, there's still a group activation. The club call can still be used as an extra entity for POTA. Like I said, they're doing it today. That's what they're doing today. So we know that already. Clarification-wise, I can drop an email off to somebody and see what they say about it. But I understand passing of the mic under the club. You can't pass the mic under the club. But in other cases where they do a club activation, they'll say, okay, Mac, you got 15 minutes. Okay, you're going to operate the club call and your call. Wade, you got 15 minutes. You're going to activate the club call and your call. Then they can split them up.
I think they would do club call and the operator as your own personal call in that case.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. So you'd end up with that. But what they're doing is basically we're doing a group activation, and the club happens to be part of it. But do not put it on the POTA page as a group activation under the club. Put it under specifically one person, but use the club within that activation.
Yeah, I think a club activation is all in club. But if you're doing a group activation, you're saying you could use the club call sign as one of the group.
Absolutely. Why not? It's just another entity to go in with the 13 or 14 or 5 people that are there. It doesn't matter. You can use it. I mean, like I said, remember we were with Curtis when he did it.
Did Curtis use a club call? I don't remember.
100%. Absolutely, he did.
Okay, I don't remember that, what he actually said. Okay, carry on, VA3IMW. Probably be nice to have clarification on whether you can have a club call sign operating within a group or not. It might be one of those gray line matters.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, we were there. There was 4 of us, and he was using it. I mean, the other person that uses the Kilo Wake BSR, they do it all the time. A couple of are out there. They're always doing that and always add the club call.
Yeah, just because they're doing it doesn't necessarily mean to say it meets the rules. They're hard to interpret.
Comment? Yep, I'm not sure who that was. Go ahead, please.
Oh, sorry, I should give my call sign with that. My apologies. Well, my feeling on it, just from sitting back here and listening, I know one thing that I've never been comfortable with is when you go out and do an activation, and you've got one person calling CQ, and he says there's 19 other operators here, and none of them take the mic. That I know for sure that I don't really go for that.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Bill. Yeah, okay, but it's done. As simple as that. It's done. And it's not just whether we're doing it. It's done all over. And once in a while they'll say, okay, yeah, and they'll put the rest of them on there. But no, it's unfortunately seems to be almost a common practice.
Yeah, well, just because it's done does not make it right. But I think if that was the case where you had, say, like 10 operators, and you got one guy calling CQ, I think at least everyone should make sure they take a turn at the mic then in a multiple activation. And I'm going to go back and read the rules before I make any more final judgments. I've read them once, but I'm going to go back and read them again.
VA3IMW comment.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Bill. Everybody should get hold of the microphone, even if they, depending on how many people you've got. And I know somebody breaks the rules all the time with that. Mac, go ahead, VA3IMW.
Yeah, I guess the other legality of it, if we have 18 operators that are supposedly on the air at the same time, it means that they all have to individually identify on the air at least every 30 minutes.
Yep, that's true. Yep, that's right. So, like I say, I can point fingers at people that do it all the time. Matter of fact, it's happening this weekend. I'll tell you right now, I know it's happening. There's 8 or 9 operators out there and only one person is putting out the call.
And in the States, they have to identify more frequently, isn't it? Every 5 minutes?
If it's 10, every 10 minutes they have to do it. But, you know, there's rules out there that I guess get bent, okay? And if you want to have the POTA police come out and start, you know, demanding things that have to be done, there's a red light and you have to stop, and a green light and a yellow light and all the rest of it. You know, yes, sir, officer, I went through was yellow, no, it was red. I mean, we're back into the rule stuff, and it gets a little tough. So, like I said, do they get bent? Yes, I got to agree. They probably get bent a little bit.
I'll answer you, VACP.
Go ahead, Dave.
Okay, I think one thing that I have observed is when they get a park-to-park, all activators take a turn at the park-to-park giving signal reports, so that gets everybody into the fray of things.
No, I think everybody agrees with that too. When there is a park-to-park, everybody should get a hold of the microphone. But I agree with Bill saying too. So somebody sits down at the table, and if it's let's just say it's a number 10 people. Everybody gets a turn at it. Everybody gets 5 minutes. And everybody gets a turn to call CQ, POTA, whatever you want. But again, back to the one person who's going to be using the club call. They're going to use the club call, and they're going to use their personal call. So they get divided off into 2 locations. Because if I'm sitting there and Wade says he's using his call and the club call, and I'm going to use the club call and my call, first of all, it's not going to go anywhere if Wade loads the files because it's going to be a duplicate on the club call. So it's going to probably kick everything out, and I won't get any credit for it.
There's lots of room for discussion. VACP.
Yep. Anyways, I can send off a little message to a guy and see what his concept of it or whatever. But I'll leave it open for now. I'm not going to do that right away. I think the way we're doing it is proper. Like I said, the only thing that we shouldn't do is don't put the actual POTA page with the club on it. So it's never listed as VE3HPO as a group activation. It goes under one name, but VE3HPO can be part of that. Or it could be multiples. If you got 5 people or 6 people, everybody can put their actual call up there under the POTA page. I've seen it where they've also put up the group call up there too. So, anyways, any other comments? Go ahead, VE3LBI. Anybody got anything else before we do a 7-3 round? VE3LBI.
Okay, Larry, VA3IMW. I think we can park this for a couple of weeks. A few of us are going to do some heavy-duty reading, and we'll come back and throw it back on the table and figure out where we're going to go with this in future. And I also want to thank the person that came forward and voice the concern. And of course, as Dave has well spoken, just because other people are doing it doesn't necessarily mean it's right. It just means that nobody's complained loud enough that anything has been done about it. So we're going to make sure that we're doing things absolutely 100% square, and that all of the VE3HPO members and associates and affiliates are comfortable with what we're doing. Thanks very much, and sorry if I brought any contention to the table tonight, but what the heck, it's Friday. And I'll throw it back to you, Larry. Yeah, I guess if if you take radio clubs that have club call signs when they're doing contesting, they're using the club call, but they spread their operators out over numerous bands so that they have different individuals. In that case, when you're contesting, you're using the club call. You're submitting a log with the club call and the operator call as a subset of that. And obviously, you're not passing the mic from that standpoint. But since Parks on the Air is not a contest, anyways, I've probably said way too much for tonight. Let me do some more reading and come back in a couple of weeks. And like I say, we'll throw this back on the table then.
Yep. Okay. No problem. Well, like I said, it's you're using it's a group activation. So the club call, I can see if they're doing it with a contesting, yes, because what they're doing is they're taking certain time periods, and if they're doing it on different frequencies, they're using a different stroke against the club call. But we're not doing that. We're all together, and it's one group or whatever, whoever's there, and they're doing it as one complete activation. So it's not, it's like I say, you take 5 minutes, I take, and Wade takes, and whoever Bill takes in 5 minutes. It's a group. So that's the kind of the way we're doing it. But anyway, okay. With that, like I say, all right, leave it for a couple of weeks. If we need to get some more clarification, I can send up an email and ask the gentleman about it, who will probably have no problem telling us we're doing something right or wrong with it. So, with that, anything else? Anybody else got anything they want to throw on the table before we do a 7-3 round? All right, something heard. On the last call, anybody else want to check into the Friday night ZOE Ragchew before we do a 7-3 round? It's all quiet. VA3NCA, VA3LBI doing a 7-3 round.
VA3LBI, VA3NCA. I think I heard somebody double with you there when you called me. I'm not sure if I want to take a standby here, if you want me to, and see if I can pick that person up.
Okay, was there somebody else coming in there? Go ahead, please. VA3LBI.
VA3NFG. Just a quick question. When you're making a dirty ballon, like you got some extra coax and you coil it around something like a paint can or a piece of ABS. What's the minimum diameter you want to use, and what would be too big of a diameter of something to coil it around to use?
Okay, if you got 1 second, see if you got Garnett, VE3GNP, VE3LBI. You still with us?
VA3GNP, I'm still here, Ray.
Did you hear Steve's question?
No, I didn't. I was on the couch.
Okay, Steve, could you repeat it? Because Dave's made Garnett's made a couple. Would you repeat your question, please, Steve?
When constructing a dirty ballon out of coax there, like the diameter of the loops, what is the optimal loop diameter that you want to use to do that? Is it like 8-inch or 12-inch? I don't think it'd be anything less than 6-inch, but there probably is an optimal diameter to use to help filter out some of the noise floor.
Yeah, what I do, I use ABS piping, 4-inch pipe, and I go 23 feet and wrap it around a pipe.
4-inch diameter. Is that for HF or VHF UHF?
HF.
Okay, I would have thought that'd be too narrow of a diameter. I figured bigger loops would help, but I guess where you'd use 4-inch diameter, you'd use many loops, and if if it was a bigger diameter, you'd use fewer loops. But I guess it's a hit and miss kind of a thing. Just gotta try it and see what works and what doesn't work. Okay, thanks. That's my question, and thanks for the answer there, Garnett. NSG.
Yep, okay, no problem, Stephen. By the way, he's using heavy coax, and he used 23 feet to go around the 4-inch black ABS pipe for a dirty ballon. So again, using heavy coax and 23 feet. All right, Mac, you're up. VA3IMW, VA3LBI. You're doing a 7.3.
Okay, here we go. My dirty ballon is around a 2-liter pop bottle, 29 turns with RG8X. And it stops RF from coming back in the shack. 7.3s, Larry. Thanks for doing this one, and happy Friday.
Okay, thanks for that, Mac. VA3BT, VE3LBI. Come on in out.
Yeah, still here listening along. So you guys are calling it dirty ballon, ugly ballon, but anyways, it's I don't know. This is what I've done in the past. 6 inches in diameter, 5 turns. But hey, you guys do what you got to do. Thanks for being here. Thanks for doing it there, Larry. VA3BT 7.3, y'all.
Hey, thanks, Al. VE3IUK, VE3LBI. Bill, we're just doing a 7.3.
Yep, and I use a dirty ballon here, and it does help to keep the RF out of the shack. Before I had one in here, my USB ports would go off like crazy, but they're quiet now since I've got the dirty ballon. So, and I just want to make a comment to Mac. No, I'm glad you brought this up. It's an area of contention, and we like to be as harmonious among our ham community as we can. So I hope we get this resolved, and I will definitely go back and read the rules again. So Mac, glad you brought it up. So anyway, with that, I'll turn it back to net control. I'll say 7-3 to everybody. I will be around later on, and if Waits could be around, I would like to have a quick word with him. If not, I can catch him another time. Back to you, Larry.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Chuck, VA3CJZ, VE3LBI. We're just doing a 7.3 round, Chuck.
Yeah, very good, Larry. One comment, I've used a coffee can, the big round coffee cans there, and I forget how many turns I did. I think maybe 9 turns or 13 feet. You can Google it, and it'll give you dimensions there, Steve, if you're listening, or length of coax to use. But yeah, I found the coffee can was less turns and easier to manage. Other than that, Larry, thank you very much for doing the net again, and everybody have a great weekend. VA3CJZ.
Okay, thanks, Chuck. And Mark, VA3MHD. Mark, come on in. VE3LBI. We're just doing a 7.3 round.
Yeah, thanks, Larry, and everyone else for their input. Interesting discussion tonight. And that's about all I got. Larry, Steve and I'll be plugging away here. We got a few things to try from this house. So, you guys have a great weekend. Him and I are scheduled, but that's the way the loves fall, and not every weekend. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll send it back to you, Larry. VA3 Mike Hotel Victor.
Yep, not a problem. Thanks for joining in. Garnett, we're just doing a 7.3 round. VE3GMP, VE3LBI.
Yep, so to see Larry, maybe I'll try net. Good net tonight, Larry. We'll talk to you come down from 1, you said?
I'll give you a phone call in the morning.
Yep, no problem. Okay, I'll be here anyways.
Sounds good. Talk to you then. Okay, thanks. VA3CP, VE3LBI. Dave, just doing a 7.3.
Okay, VA3CB. Al told you guys it's not a dirty ballon, it's an ugly ballon, because they're ugly. And 3-inch diameter stuff, 27 feet of RG8X is fine, but you're probably better off just to wind yourself on a nice 1-to-1 ballon with some RG58 coax on an FT240-43 core. And you only need about 8 turns. So much easier than trying to make an ugly ballon. Ugly ballons are really heavy too. I'm going to drag your antenna down. You can use stronger support. All right. That's it. 73 all the A3CP.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Noel, you still with us? VE3KH, just doing a 7-3 round all the VA3LBI.
Yeah, still here. Yeah, glad I caught the end of that. I gotta go look up what the dirty or ugly balun is, because that sounds interesting. And I have no idea what the heck that was. So, yeah, I will say 7-3s, and I will probably be clear when to shut down the net. VA3KDT.
Yeah, you said you have no idea what that is. Is that what you said, Noel?
Yeah, first time I've ever heard the term, so I'm gonna go Google and read.
She used to keep the RF from coming back into the house. What they do is they wrap coax around whatever, like you can go pop bottles, 4-inch pipe, wrap it tight, X number of feet of the coax, usually then taped together, and it sits in line with on your feed out, and it stops the RF from coming back into the radio.
Yeah, it's, what do you mean by the RF coming back into the radio? Because, like, I don't really have any issues or anything. Like, I know Bill said something about his USB ports going off. Like, it literally disconnects the USB or something. Or I'm not sure what the reason for having it or what it's preventing. Is more the idea. I understand balance and that.
Most cases, people have RF coming back in, and you either put a choke on it to stop it, or one of these downs like that. You think you may not have any RF, but there is a possibility you actually have RF coming back down.
Okay, but what would be the negative noticeable sign of having RF coming back in?
Oh, there's going to be a bunch of things. Let me finish up here. Let me get Steve in here. We'll close it up if you want to stick around for a couple minutes. Probably run through a couple of things. VA3IMW, VA3LBI, Steve, we're just doing a 7-3 round.
Yeah, okay, roger that. Yeah, I just figured I'd throw the question out because I do have one, but of course my station is not connected right now, and I'm gonna make another one up. Another thing to go along with that, where would you put the placement of that? Closer to the radio, before the coax goes outside, or would you put that closer to the wire or the antenna that you're using? Okay, I'll leave it off with that, and maybe we'll hear a small discussion on that, which would be very handy to know that information. Anyway, okay, very good. VA3IMW, thanks to the net, Larry, and we'll be sticking around for a bit.
C point of the antenna, Steve, VA3CP.
Closer to so if you had a wire antenna, you got a balun out there, 130 feet of wire, you're saying that coil should be, what, 4 or 5 feet away from the balun before it comes into the house?
Now let's talk about this after Larry closes up the net. VA3CP, go ahead, Larry.
Okay, thanks. Let me get in here. I'll close it up. All right, thanks everybody for joining in again tonight. Appreciate it. Again, you guys make the actual net, and I just take down the call signs and the names. So I want to thank Terry VE3IKL for the use as a repeater. And I do have to step away for a few minutes, so I'll get back as soon as I can. Like I say, 7-3 everybody. Victor Echo 3 Lima Bravo India will return the repeater back to normal use.
Hey Steve, VA3NFG, VA3CP, what kind of antenna are you using?
Well, it's the G5RV, but regardless of what antenna you're using, I would think it'd be a good idea to use one of those ugly baluns. I'm going to be putting up an NFET in a quad fashion around the corners of my property. So, and I don't have the dirty ugly balun I was using. It was like I didn't make it separate from the coax that I have in line. Because I have so much extra coax, I just decided to coil it around a piece of 6-inch ABS and fastened it with zip ties so it wouldn't unwind on its own. And I had that on the inside of the shack. I figured it would clean everything up before it comes into the radio, but you're saying it's better to put that closer to the antenna?
Okay, G5RV is a thing on its own. A lot of people get a lot of RF coming back into the shack, hearing voices on cordless phones, doing lots of weird things, computers freezing when you're transmitting, those sort of things. So Noel's still listening there. That's some of the things. Also, if you happen to have a microphone that's metal and you touch your lips close to the microphone, you may get an RF burn, and those hurt really badly. So the idea is to choke off what is called common mode current so that it doesn't get back to your radio. With a G5RV, there's multiple ways of configuring those. There's like a mini one, and there's a full-size one. The full-size one's 105 feet flat top, and then you've got usually about a 30-foot piece of, I believe, twin lead. Then you go into coax. Is that the way yours is?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, 52 feet per side, and then from the apex of the G5RV, I have it coming down on an angle, and I think there's a 1-to-1 balun right in front of the coax connector.
Okay, so your 1-to-1 balun is exactly what you're making when you're making an ugly balun. You're making an RF choke. So the 1-to-1 balun is an RF choke. So you're covered already.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, then I really never had too much of a problem with noise here. It's hard to judge on a day-to-day basis. Some days the band's noisy, some days it isn't. And who knows what people are running in the neighborhood that could affect the receive. But yeah. Okay. Yep. So so I've already got one in line, so it'd be unnecessary to put another one there. So we're probably going to make one up for Mark. I don't think he has one there. We'll probably work on making one there. That was the basis for my question, which you answered there, Dave. Thanks.
Okay, Steve, I'm going to suggest that you go on the internet and take a look at website DJ0IP, Delta Juliet 0IP.de. It's kind of a hard site to navigate around because sometimes you can't back up and get to where you were, but in the middle of this sort of menu, you'll see RF CMC chokes. Take a look at that and balance stuff and read up on that and try to understand it. Excuse me. Hang on a sec.
RJ0 Delta Echo, correct?
Delta Juliet 0 India Papa .de. DE for Germany. Take a look at that site and read up about balance and common mode chokes. Another thing you might want to do is look around and see if you can find a copy of the ARRL antenna handbook. That would probably be good information for you. Even though the antenna book is, I got one from the 70s, but it's still valid today. It's the same stuff. Antennas don't change much. In fact, they don't change. But there's also a free download if you can find it. I don't know where it is, but there is a free download of a ARRL antenna handbook from about 5 years ago. So if you want to download that PDF file, it'll be a good reference for you.
Yeah, roger that. Yeah, so I'll be switching to an end-fed half-wave wire, in which case wouldn't have a 1-to-1 balun included in the coax line. So therefore, I'd be making one. So yeah, I'll look around and see what Google can find me. Victor Echo 3 Kilo Delta Tango. Noel, any questions? That'll be a good time.
Yeah, I was just waiting for you guys to finish up there. I wanted to say my thanks for the explanation. I have actually experienced a little bit of RF initially with, I haven't really played too much with my HF setup here just because signal's really terrible. But I did have some issues connecting my USB port or my radio to my USB. But I managed to fix that just with a very nice, gold-plated USB cable with a choke on either end, and that kind of got rid of it. But nice to know that's what the cause was, and thanks for the explanation.
Okay, Noel, very good. Yeah, like sometimes you get all the lights flashing on your radio and everything as you're transmitting, and it cuts out. Your computer freezes up. There's lots of things that can happen. RF does funny things. You never know what it's going to do. It can also interfere with the neighbors as well, so you prefer not to do that. All right, DJ0IP.de. He's got another website as well, DJ0IP.com. But take a look at both of them sort of go together. He is, I believe he is an ex-engineer that used to work at Spider Beam, or I can't remember what the other one was. There was another antenna manufacturer in Germany. I think he worked there. He's living in the U.S. now, but by all means, have a look at that. He seems to be fairly knowledgeable, or quite knowledgeable.
Okay, yeah, roger that. I don't know if we might have doubled a little bit there in the beginning there, Dave. I was just making a comment about those ferrite chokes that snap over your coax, as cheap as they are. And whether they work or not is another thing. I guess it all depends on the location and like everybody's antenna system, that it has its own individual characteristics that determines whether you got noise or not. But anyway, okay. Thanks, Dave. VE3CP, VA3IMW.
Okay, Steve. Well, as far as snap-on chokes go, you'll require about 10 or 12 of them to equal 8 turns on a toroid ring, where you go around through the center of the ring and wind yourself a one-to-one choke. Now, with your end-fed half-wave, you're going to be using a 49-to-1 transformer to feed it, 2 or 3 feet off the ground, and you'll also want a radial. If you're putting up a 40-meter one, you're going to need a 4-meter long radial. 10% of your wavelength for what you're transmitting on. 20-meter end-fed half-wave, you can get away with a 2-meter one. But I don't know how it's going to work if you put it in a loop around the yard, because you've obviously got opposite sides are going to try and cancel one another. You can talk to Bill IUK a little bit more about that, because he's had that set up. It works, but it's not ideal. And you shouldn't, if you got it tuned properly, cut to the proper length, you should not need an antenna tuner at all. It'll be less than 2 to 1 from 40 meters through 10 meters.
Yeah, roger. Okay. Well, would a delta loop be any better? 3-sided?
Delta loop, you're going to need a balun to feed that, or you're going to need a tuned piece of like a coax stub, I think. But then you're looking at something to support it all. Delta loop, you got 3 points to hold up in the air, and they say that if you put it up vertically, you should have it at least 6 or 7 feet off the ground, maybe 8 feet, so people don't get near it. And it's going to be a long way up for a 40-meter delta loop.
Well, to the corners of my yard, I've got a 10-foot mast pole on each corner, and then the tower being the highest point. It's maybe 2.5 sections of tower. No mast pole on top of that. I could go with a mast pole and make that higher, I want, or whatever works. So, yeah, right now the G5RV is probably sitting at each leg is at the end is the lowest point, and it's about 14 or 15 feet in the air going up to the tower. But I've ran that G5RV for a while. I just want to try some other things. I also have that ground mounted vertical I want to try. It's got the 3 cans in the middle, really old antenna from the 70s. I want to try that as well.
Well, don't discount an antenna just because it's from the 70s, because sometimes those designs are really good. All right, just keep in mind, amateur radio is all about experimenting and building. So, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some, but hopefully you learn through your doings. All right, I'm going to head upstairs. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of information to start on, and at least a place to do some research. VA3NFG, VA3CP, 73 Steve, and 73 Noel.
Yeah, okay, Dave, thanks again. V3CP, VA3NFG will be monitoring.
And that brings the extended net to a close. Good conversation about protocol for Parks on the Air, as well as good discussion about antenna construction and best practices. That brings us to saying goodnight to everybody. 7 3s. That's how we say goodbye.